Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
This day of His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, who is, as everybody knows, the spiritual master of His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, and Acharya of ISKCON. On the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Srila Prabhupada went all over the world, preached, saved us all. So we are grateful to Srila Prabhupada, unlimitedly, eternally grateful. We are also unlimitedly, eternally grateful to all the Acharyas, by whose desire we have not only been saved from the darkness of ignorance, but engaged in the topmost activity of spiritual life, namely carrying on the mission of the Acharyas to reach Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Now, I'm presuming that most devotees here are familiar with the life story of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura. So, I'm going to tell some stories which I collected from some of his disciples. A few years ago, I thought that probably most of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura's disciples have already passed away. And whoever is there, they're not going to be here much longer. So I thought to interview them and to collect stories, just like so many Prabhupada disciples were interviewed for compiling the Prabhupada Lilamrita. So I thought better late than never, even though most of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura's disciples have passed away. I thought to interview some of them. And I was able to meet most of those who are still, or who were still present at that time. One of them in particular, his name is Jyoti Shekhar. He's living as a householder in Orissa. He was very pleased to meet me, and I sat with him on different occasions for several days and collected many pastimes and anecdotes. He said that I've been carrying these in my heart for many years, and I was very disappointed. I thought I would die without these pastimes being broadcast to the world. But now I'm very happy that you've come. He said to me, I'm like the goods storehouse, and you're like a train bringing it. So still I haven't published that as a book. It's still somewhere around by the power of Maya, my own incompetence. And we'll have to publish it. It's still in the long process of editing. I have many of these stories on computer discs that I'm going to print it out soon with the disc also very much, so I don't have all of them. And many stories. They're not in any particular order, but start to speak them. Where to begin? Of course, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as his very name says, he has established that the Siddhanta, the ultimate conclusion of scriptural knowledge, is Bhakti, pure, unmotivated devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. And particularly as the Pranam mantra to him states, Shilupana Viruddha, Abhasiddhanta. One of his particular tasks is also Madhurya Jala Premadi, Shilupana Bhakti. Following the line of Rupa Swami, he gives pure devotional service at the highest level, but also in his service to Rupa Goswami, he destroys or he smashes all the wrong conclusions, the wrongly propagated conclusions of devotional service that are against the conclusion of Rupa Goswami. Now, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is very controversial and revolutionary figure. Now we're sitting here and it's accepted more or less by the general public, general body of intellectuals, and scholars of religion in India and throughout the world, that Gaudiya Vaishnavism is represented by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura. But he had to fight to establish himself. At that time, of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had been preaching, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur had given the idea among the intellectual classes that Krishna consciousness is not simply as Vivekananda said. Vivekananda quoted that this was the general idea among the intellectual classes, especially in Bengal, that this Krishna Bhakti is a sex business. Because Krishna consciousness is so much misrepresented that it was expected that if someone is a follower of Lord Chaitanya, that he is a devotee, that he has illicit relations with women. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had given that idea. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur established that idea very strongly, and he fought throughout his life against the wrong preaching of the false devotees, and he was very, very strong against it. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote very strongly against it. But in his personal dealings, he didn't create enmity with others. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur did. And he even crossed his own fathers in this regard. And when they were living in Puri with Vimala Prasad, his name was given Vimala Prasad. Vimala Devi is the deity of Durga Devi in Puri. So, this son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vimala Prasad, who has come as the mercy of Vimala Prasad. So when he was a young man living in Puri, he was fighting very strongly against this Nidai Gauraj Sham. There's this mantra which is chanted, not actually mantra, but some so-called chant, which is chanted by a false sampradaya, which was headed out by, that was founded by one Babaji, Radhananda Babaji, and his followers, Ramdas Babaji. So they were very prominent, and they still are quite prominent in Orissa and Bengal. And they would go everywhere and chant this Bhajanidai Gaurade Shanta Hare Krishna Hare Ram, which is a catchy tune, but it is not according to Siddhanta. It's not given in Shastra, it's not given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they have many wrong ideas. They think that Nityananda is Radharani, and they have many funny ideas. It is something which appears to be bhakti, but it is not. It is actually an offense, because although it has all the external appearances of being bhakti, because the idea is wrong. Because there's rasa bhas, because there's a mixing of mellows. They want to put Lord Nityananda with Radha and Krishna. You don't say this is Lord Nityananda is actually Radha. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, there are so many reasons. Anyway, he stood very strongly against that. He used to make protests. He told his followers, because this was later in life, but in his early life, he was protesting against that. He used to say this is the chua means a rat. This is like a chanting of rats. So there was so much, he was creating quite disturbance. People in general, even learned scholars and devotees, they couldn't see what was wrong with it. They thought, well, it's very nice. These people, they're renovating temples and they're chanting Hare Krishna, they wear tilas, and they're very good people. What's wrong with them? And because there was something basically wrong. So many things appear to be right. But because there was something basically wrong, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was affected. Therefore he fought against it fully. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur requested him, now you please go to Bengal. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, in his early life, he was trained by his father in all the aspects of printing and publishing. Later, in Cuttack, in Orissa, he established a press just in the area of the business. And he said, when the press was first installed, he had a ceremony, just like installing a deity. So he offered his full obedience. He said, this is the Bhaktisiddhanta, this is completely transcendental. This is, as this worship, this working of the press, this is as good as the deity worship. He said that in my childhood, I was trained by my father, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. I was trained by him in all aspects of press work. And actually, even if something went wrong with the machine, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur corrected. He knew how to correct the printing. Every aspect he knew. About writing, how to write, how to proofread, how to edit, how to typeset, how to print, all the aspects of printing he knew. So we used to tell that my father trained me in proofreading, but I don't only proofread books. I proofread people. I proofread religions. I proofread the world. I find a mistake and I put it correct. And he said, I was born in Karkagalata, which means there's some crab. He said, just like a crab catches people and pinches them. So in the same way I catch, if there's something wrong, I catch that and pinch it and put it right. So he was very strong. He didn't compromise in any way. Even people used to protest to him about so many different things. He used to, especially this loud chanting of Hare Krishna. Now it was somehow or other the Sahajiyas, they had decided, and it was spread throughout the whole of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement was apparently in the hands of these Sahajiyas, Jatosais, the hereditary Goswamis. So they had decided in their envy that chanting of Hare Krishna should not be done loud. That which should be done loud, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to preach, because they're actually envious of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they don't want people to be benefited by his movement. They make a show of being his followers and have set disciples for their own filling their belly business. But the actual benefit of chanting Hare Krishna loudly, they wanted to stop that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, he reintroduced them. We should chant Hare Krishna loudly. And there was so much protest. Why are you doing this? And of course there is evidence in Shastra, just like Rupa Goswami in his Chaitanya describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Hare Krishna is your child. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was loudly chanting Hare Krishna. But one time there was a big meeting called in, I think it was in Kata, in Orissa, somewhere probably. So there were so many pundits called, and Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura didn't go himself. He sent some of his sannyasi followers. And when they were up, he told them, they asked, what should we say? When people are going to say, it says, nowhere in Shastra we find that Lord Chaitanya was chanting Hare Krishna loudly. Even, of course, in Chaitanya Bhagavat it's mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling everyone to chant Hare Krishna. But they can't directly find any evidence. They're saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting in Kirtan, and then we find him chanting so many things in Kirtan, but not Hare Krishna, according to the Sahajiyas. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura told them that you go and tell them this, that when we're chanting Hare Krishna, if you see the grammatical analysis of this, how this mantra is set up, that is Sambodha, means in Sanskrit grammar there are different cases. The first case is Sambodha when you're calling, just like in English you'll say, Oh Krishna, Hey Krishna. So in Sanskrit when you say Oh Krishna, when you're calling out to somebody, you just say Krishna, there's nothing to precede it or to follow. Krishna, that is the way of calling out something. So he kept to tell all the people that chanting Hare Krishna is in this form, therefore we're calling out to Krishna, therefore we should call out. Tell them that. That's all. So they went and all the people weren't convinced. But that's all. Let's tell them. There was so much protest against him, especially his brother, Lalita Prasad, who was his blood brother. He was very much akin in his preachings and teachings to the Jatosais, the caste Goswamis, and to the so-called Babajis of Vrindavan and Navadvip. Now, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura was not against Babajis per se, but most of the Babajis at that time were bogus. They were not actual followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some of them, there was Bhaktisiddhanta Babaji was accepted by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, and in Vrindavan there was one Ramakrishna Das. So some he accepted, but mostly he didn't like the Babaji, and they didn't like him. And they brought so much protest, and incited by Lalita Prasad, they said that you're not following Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura. They used to give Siddha Pranali, they used to tell people would come to them, and immediately they would tell them that, well, you're following Krishna Lila, you're a peacock or a parrot or something like this. and in this way they cheated people. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati stood against this, and he pointed out the faults in many, many essays and in his preaching. He wrote, just as Madhvacharya wrote the Mayavada Shakadushani, pointing out 100 faults of Mayavada. So he pointed out the Prakriti Rasa Shakadushani, the 100 faults of those who want to say that the rasa of Krishna Lila, that can be understood when one is still on the Prakriti level, when one is on the mundane level, when he is not transcending the modes of material nature. So he pointed out the faults of this, and there was some backup. There was a book printed by Babaji in Vrindavan, criticizing Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. All the things he was not following Bhakti. Actually, in many ways it seemed that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he had introduced something new. The Sahajiyas of Vrindavan, they criticized him that how is it that you are giving Brahman initiation when your Guru didn't give you Brahman initiation? Because Gauri Shaka and Babaji Maharaj, he gave initiation, he gave the name to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Vashakam Vinay Gayatras. He gave the name. And he didn't give any beads because Gauri Shaka and Babaji himself didn't use beads. He simply gave, here's your name and here's some dust and another initiation. So, he didn't give you Brahman initiation. How are you giving Brahman initiation? None of the followers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur did that. Why are you doing this? Why are you giving Brahman initiation? Why are you giving sannyas initiation? How are you taking sannyas? No one gave you sannyas. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote a book in reply that Purva Bhakta Priyanatha Purva Bhakta Priyanatha Pratyuttara. It means the language also is very high. A reply to the opponent, Priyana, because the person who wrote that book is called Priyana. So this book, quite a big book, but the essence of that, he said that Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he has come on a mantra. He has come to this world for preaching, and he has told me to establish Daivigana Shambhani. So I'm doing that. I'm on his order, I'm preaching and I'm giving people initiation as Brahmins and Sannyasis. And he said that people may criticize me, but no one can do bhajan like me, and no one can preach like me. Jai Radha Madhava Kunjari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, let them, even there are so many Babajis who are doing that, but no one could do bhajan as he was doing. Before he came out, he was preaching, but then he came to Mayapur. In his youth he was preaching, but at one point he became profoundly disgusted by all the Sahajiyas, their insincerity. And that even though he pointed out all their faults, he stood against them, they weren't interested. So he came, I think it was for 9 years. He lived in Mayapur. And he was performing very severe austerities and chanting Hare Krishna day and night and living in the lotus feet of Gauri Shaka and Prabhuji Maharaj. So, and then even later, when he established his mission for preaching, even then he was always chanting many rounds, studying very deeply. He studied Chaitanya Charitamrita 108 times, Chaitanya Bhagavad 108 times. He was like an ocean of scriptural knowledge. He could quote on any shastra and give the correct meaning. This is the real meaning of an acharya, in the true sense of the term. One who is vastly acquainted with the shastra, what is their meaning. So, even when he was preaching widely, but still he spent much time in his bhajan. He used to say that whenever I wake up in the night, I simply get up. If I wake up, I get up. That's all. He was always, no one could see when he would get up. He would always be up before everybody else. Of course, he was very strong in exhorting his devotees to be very strong in their bhajan and their preaching. At the same time, he didn't like anything artificial. One time, one brahmachari, He wanted to chant a lot, he didn't want to sleep much. So he tied his shikha, you see where they keep the beds, and they have bamboos to put the mosquito net on. So he tied his shikha to the bamboo so that he wouldn't fall down like this. So one time he was tied up like this by his chanting, and anyway he was so Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur came and untied his shikha and told him, don't try anything artificial. He wanted his devotees to be learned, but at the same time, he didn't want artificial scholarship, an artificial attitude. Some of his followers, they were very scholarly and studying so many books. He would tell them that what is the use of your studying all these different Vedas? Who's going to listen anyway? Who cares for all your knowledge of the Vedas? Just go out and preach. Not that he didn't want people to know. They would go out in the morning, door to door, preaching. And in the afternoon, they would come back and every day they would have Krishna in the mud. And in the beginning, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur trained his disciples, and then later on some of the more senior ones. They had this system. They would go door to door, and they would have magazines and little books. They would ask for donations. So naturally people would say, well, why? And then they would preach that we should give to us because. And then people would bring so many objections. This method they had going door to door. So if people couldn't answer, if the brahmacharis were going out preaching couldn't answer the objection, then they would come, they would tell them, please, I don't know the answer to this, but I'll consult with Guru Maharaj, tomorrow I'll come with the answer. So every day they would have, after lunch prasad, they would have Ishtagoshi, and they would read, especially Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur recommended, that all the devotees should become very much acquainted with Jaiva Dharma and Chaitanya Shikamrita. So every day they would have some reading on that, and then they would take questions. So what questions did you meet today? And then they would give the answers, and they would go back, here's your answer. Like this. So this way they were trained for preaching. They were preaching and collecting funds for different projects. But Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was very particular how funds were collected. One sannyasi, he was in Bombay, and he went to the house of one rich man, and the wife brought him some sweet, and the sannyasi said, no, I can't take this, I can't accept your food. I can't accept your food unless you give us so many thousand rupees donations. Because in the Chaitanya Math, the devotees are there, they're having much difficulty because there are no tube wells. So you must give some donation for establishing a tube well. How can I take when the devotees are suffering? So then the wife, because in Hindu custom it's understood that if a guest comes to your house and he doesn't take any food, then you'll get it's a very bad thing for you. You'll get a very bad reaction. So apparently he was forcing. So he gave a donation. But when Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur heard about that, he was not very pleased. He was not happy. That another time, one both higher Maharaj, in Qatar, he went out collecting in the market areas. Now in higher Maharaj, in Qatar, he went out collecting in the market areas. Now, in the market there are so many Marwadis. Marwadis are a business community in India. And usually, not only Marwadis, but any business people, they'll be evading on income tax. So, Bodhaya Maharaj went to see the income tax collector in Qatar. And he asked that you please come with me and let's go to the Marwadis and make some collections. Because he was thinking if the Marwadis see him, then they'll be afraid that if they don't give a donation, then the income tax collector is going to get on his case. So the income tax collector said, no, I can't. So he said, all right, well, can you do one thing? Can I borrow your car and I can drive back to the mud in your car? So he said, okay. So he went back to the mud, but he took a diversion to the bazaar on his way back. And he just happened to stop at all these shops of the different Marwadis. He told them, I'm just coming to the income tax collection. He came in his car, and I'd like to make some collection. So this way he made quite a good collection. And he came back to the mat, and got out of the car. He was very jubilant because he collected so many dhotis, so many pots of pans, so much money and so many things. And he called out, Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parikaya Dacharya Srila Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Vijay over and over again. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, he came up on the veranda. He used to live on the roof of the ashram. He came on the veranda to see what all the noises were about. And then when Bhakti Maharaj saw him, he offered him full obeisances. He was very happy that now he got something big to offer to my Guru Maharaj. So Saraswati Thakura, he called him up and he asked what's it all about, and he brought him so many dhotis and so many items of food, so many things. And he asked, how is this being collected? So he told him everything. So Saraswati Thakura was very upset, he was very sorry. So this is not the method of Vikasa means collection. And he called, there was another sannyasi, there's Puri Maharaj, he called him. And he asked, you bring your collection for the day. So Puri Maharaj had gone out, and in his Sutarya, he'd gone out collecting as a traditional sannyasi would. And he collected some vegetables, a few vegetables and some rice and a few spices. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura took his Sutarya, and he said, he accepted it. He said, yes, I accept it. This is Satya. Your collection, that is in the mode of passion. This is not the process. Previously to that sannyasi in Bombay, he told them this is not our process of collection. He told them that we should go, it's not our intention to take some money from people, but we should speak something to them about Krishna. And then if they're satisfied, then if they give something, then we can accept their donation. It's not our process that we collect money by any means. So, this kind of Kata, he told Bodhana Maharaj, you take all these things back. I'm not accepting. Of course, we shouldn't misunderstand. Because our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, he accepted funds under preaching in different times, place and circumstances. He was preaching lectures who had no idea of Vedic culture. So if for such people to give a donation by any means is good for them, even by hook or by crook. So different time, place and circumstances. So anyway, this Bodhaya Maharaj, Jyoti Shekhar, he was a young brahmachari. So one time, one queen of one, that time there was, in the British times, there were so many kings and queens in India who ruled, so many kings who used to rule different areas under the British. So in one area of Orissa there was Ali, and the queen, the queen of Ali was the Ali Rani. Rani means queen. She came to the mat in Kaka for one festival, and Jyoti Shekhar Prabhu was serving prasad at that festival, and everyone was in a line taking prasad together. And Bodhaya Maharaj thought, well, let's please the queen some more because she's an important person. So he gave one very nice mango to Jyoti Shekhar Prabhu, and he said, you give that to the queen. So Jyoti Shekhar was a little disturbed because in India everyone knows the culture that whoever you are, if you're all sitting together to take prasad, you don't give one person something special. Everyone takes the same thing. So he's a little disturbed that people will think there's something wrong with it. So even though he's a sannyasi, he protested and said, well, how can I do this? That is against the etiquette, it's the wrong thing. So Bodhaya Maharaj became very angry with him and started chastising him. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura heard that, and he asked what had happened, and Bodhaya Maharaj explained, and he said that no, he said to Bodhaya Maharaj, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. This boy is correct. So after that, he never called Bodhai Maharaj by the name Bodhai Maharaj. He used to call him Ali Rani Sannyasi. And he said, are you a sannyasi of the Gaudiya Math, or are you a Ali Rani Sannyasi? Are you a sannyasi who is a follower of this Ali Rani, Queen of Rani? So he always used, and actually he made many sannyasis for preaching, but several of them he became disappointed with them because they were very interested in prestige, and they were very concerned who can give the best lecture and become famous as a big preacher. He was specifically very upset with Bon Maharaj, who was sent to England, and then he came back advertising himself as a great preacher, but he hadn't fulfilled the mission, and in so many ways. So he used to say, many times he used to say, Korinam Shanyashi ho yeno vidashi, meaning they're amazing sannyasis, but they simply become sense enjoyers. So he was disappointed with that. One time, one of his followers, there were two householders in particular who were very scholarly and good writers, and Bhaktisiddhanta liked them very much. One was Nishikant Satya of Tishikara, who was a professor in Provincial College in Kata, but who he used to, every month he used to give all his salary. He was getting a good salary. He used to bring all his money to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura used to give him a little bit back, whatever he needed for his maintenance. So he was living a very poor life, even though he had plenty of money. Good income. Another one was Sundarananda Vidyadino. He was a very scholarly person. He wrote many books. Of course, later on, after the passing of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, there was a lot of controversy. But during this time, during this manifest presence of Siddhanta Thakura, these do not say names. We're not supposed to say names, but difficult when we're talking. When there's problems, with money. Anyway, he wrote many books, and he helped Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura very much in his writing, and he was the editor of the Gaudiya magazine. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura, he was also very brilliant in his use of language. Many little sayings he used to call him. He used to say is that if anybody doesn't, because even in presence there was rivalry between different groups, which later that turned into a complete split in the Gaudiya Math. But even in his presence, there were two groups. So in one of the groups was Sundarananda, and some people used to criticize him. But Thakura used to say that anyone who doesn't like Sundarananda, he is kuchit. The Sundar means beautiful and kuchit means ugly. So like this, so many followers he had. Of course, most of the followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura were village people, less educated, but some of them were also very brilliant personalities. One of the brilliant personalities was Ananda Vasudeva. Later on, what happened afterwards is quite an amazing history. But during the presence of Sarasvati, Ananda Vasudeva was one of his constant companions, and he was a brilliant personality. He was brilliant at kirtan, bhajan, and very learned. It was he who composed the prayers to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakura and all the other acharyas. And sometimes, while giving a lecture, Saraswati Thakura, he would say, "What is that verse?" Ananda Vasudeva would say so. And Ananda Vasudeva and Sundarananda, they used to write his lectures while he was speaking, and later they would write it down, and then again Saraswati Thakura would see them and he would edit them, and like this so many lectures became published in the Gaudiya magazine. So they used to say to Nanda he was the Ganesh of Saraswati Thakur because he used to write as he would speak. One time,